Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Informal. This is the 44th edition of the Mr. Informal podcast. I hope you will listen to me throughout the podcast and hopefully you will learn something from my opinions of this podcast. So, we have 4 topics for today's podcast. 1, I have a beef with the 2018 Winter Olympics logo in Pyeongchang. Second topic is iPhone X sales, and also Apple plans to cut production by half. Number 3 is Elon Musk selling flamethrower. That could be interesting, right? And then the fourth topic and the final topic are brands are being conscious with their catalogs and marketing. That is due because of H&M debacle or issues. And so let's get on with the Mr. Informal podcast, the 44th edition podcast. So the Winter Olympics 2018 is going to start on February 9th. That is soon. I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait until the opening ceremony starts. That will be a behold, watch. That would be millions and millions of watching. And so, basically, I really don't understand the logo of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. So, if you look at it, it's like, you got 2 parallel lines and vertical lines, almost like showing like a box, and then you got a star or that thing on your keyboard, the star, right? But apparently, it is a symbolism. The main symbol is a combination of Korean character which spell P, sound for Pyong, and then the CH, sound for Chang. The design incorporates the 5 traditional Korean colors. Okay, that still doesn't explain as to what the logo means. It says the multicolored design is described by the organizer as a global icon born from the spirit of Korea. I really don't understand how it relates to Koreans at all, or even the symbol of Koreans. I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm telling myself, wait a minute, how is it was approved this way? They had a how should I say this? They wanted to get the as a candidate city, so they put their city in, and their previous logo Pyeongchang 2018 looks much better than this logo. And I know everyone wants to keep it simple, and everyone wants to make it simple, yet it's functional, yet it represents the Olympics. And for some reason, I cannot explain as to why or somehow this represents the Korean culture. It's boring, it has no spirit, it doesn't have any symbolism that I can think of when I look at it. I mean, what can I say? Maybe I'm the only one here, but for some reason I don't see it. The only thing I'm excited for is obviously the games itself, the opening ceremony, the ending ceremony or the closing ceremony, the kind of countries that will participate, also the kind of events, the kind of people that we'll see, whether it be figure skating, skiing, snowboarding, even hockey, and also a lot of Winter Olympic type sports. Obviously, there's always going to be a race, so that's going to be exciting, and hopefully it goes well. I've read that North Korea and South Korea combined had a collaboration between each other to represent the Olympics, and that's good. Now, I always love to see that, as we know the turmoil of North Korea and things like this. You always want your people to compete, whether it be good or bad. Hopefully, it's all good, but always got to compete. And so that's just my beef with the Pyeongchang Olympic logo. I really don't understand how the process of even this, how it was approved, why it was even approved. They could have had other logo, but no, they had to choose that. So next up is the $1,000 iPhone X. Now what I mean with $1,000 is that that's only the starting price. We're not talking about the options of getting a higher storage of iPhone X. It could range from 1,200, even 1,200, so and so. Or even we can go to 1,500 if you buy the accessories too. But in the recent news, Apple has cut production of the iPhone X. They're not ending it, they're just cutting production. Most likely half, so they're just slowing down production. It will still be available. It seems like the iPhone 8 is still the phone to get if you want to buy something from Apple as a smartphone. It's a simple explanation, really. I don't think it's the technology of the iPhone X. Is it because of the notch? Is it because of the camera technology? Is it because of the face scanner? I don't think it's none of that. It all comes down to price. Think about it. If you can buy an iPhone 8 for $800, that's probably the iPhone 8 Plus, and get the same technology, if not better, than the iPhone X for $800, why not? The iPhone 8 Plus has a bigger and better, longer lasting battery than the iPhone X. The iPhone X has the OLED screen, face scanning, but that doesn't even matter. The iPhone 8 basically has most of the functions that you need and still costs less. And it's showing that Apple may have gone too far here, that maybe they overestimated the consumer needs. And when it happens, I guess now that they're slowing down production of the iPhone X, they're starting to realize that maybe the iPhone X was too expensive. Yes, I do know that the Apple having record sales profits, but the fact is that if they're slowing down production of the iPhone X, you know for a fact that it's not selling as well compared to the iPhone 8. Not only that, if iPhone 8 was not selling, then they would have also slowed down production of the iPhone 8. But that's not the case here. A lot of people realizing that even the hardcore fans of Apple they know that $1,000 phone is not worth it. Not only that, they could buy a laptop for $1,000, which I have explained many times, and a lot of these people just do not listen. They don't, people, sometimes you gotta save people from themselves. And yet, for some reason, when they see something, they gotta buy it, and then suddenly realize that later on, it wasn't worth it. So sometimes you just gotta help people. But for Apple's case, all they have to do is that lower the cost down. What's wrong with doing that? But then again, they'll probably sabotage the iPhone 8. But it doesn't even matter. If you want fingerprint scanning, just get the iPhone 8. You want a bigger battery, just get the iPhone 8 Plus. What's wrong with that? So in the news today, Elon Musk is selling 20,000 pieces limited edition of Boring Company's flamethrowers. This is the point of this is to fund the Boring Companies, or his Boring Company. That's the name of his company, the Boring Company. So he's selling 20,000 pieces of the Boring's flamethrower just to fund the company, and it's sold out. But there's a backlash of it. But hold on, while he's selling flamethrowers, he is also including a fire extinguisher. So that's pretty good, right? But nope, we have politicians, we got firefighters telling people, do not buy this, it will be hazardous, only negative stuff can come out of it. And I agree with them. But I also agree with Elon Musk. Capitalism, making business, making profits, right? And he was able to provide a fire extinguisher. But the fact is, it all comes down to the mentality of the people. If you are that stupid to point the flamethrower at somebody, then I have no mercy for you. You should be embarrassed and you should be ashamed of yourself. And I know in the previous topic that you gotta save people from themselves, but at the same time, these people are doing what they think they should buy, and I'm pretty sure they're not gonna point at somebody, but somebody will, and there's an accident waiting to happen, and that is what a lot of these politicians and firefighters are saying. But to me, why are these politicians even looking at this? Why can't they actually fix the damn country instead of talking about this, or even putting the time to talk about this? The only people that should be talking about this is maybe the firefighters and police, because only bad things can happen out of this. I cannot blame Elon Musk for this, because it is what it is. It's capitalism, and people have a lot of spending money. Now, all I'm saying is that if you get in an accident, or you get arrested, or you do something stupid, it is your own fault. You should use flamethrowers at your own discretion, and that should be nobody's fault except yours. And so for the last topic of this podcast, brands are getting conscious about their marketing tactics. As you know, H&M went through that issues of the child model wearing a hoodie saying, "I'm a monkey," and he just happens to be black, and everyone's suddenly up in arms about it, even though the boy's mother said, "Get over it, not a big deal." I don't think it was a big deal either. I mean, if I see a kid wearing Eminem's hoodie, does it mean he's a cracker or whatever? Not really. I really do not care. I think everyone's getting oversensitive. But this causes a domino effect. So that means Zara's looking out for their marketing. There are also Forever 21, a brand such as even the luxury brands, whether it be Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Christian Dior, even Supremes, and so we can go on and on. And I mean, I guess every brand is trying to cater to the consumer's needs in terms of what you can and cannot do, what you can market and what you cannot market, what kind of typesetting or what you can say to screen prints on shirts, hoodies, or clothing, whatever. I guess you can't say anything offensive. You can't say anything that can offend a person, even though there's nothing wrong with it, or other people don't find anything wrong with it. But if someone or that one person suddenly gets mad on it, suddenly it's become a big deal, such as what happened. But I guess it's the sign of the times and the kind of thing that we live in now, that everyone is suddenly become so sensitive about even just one word, that everything is becoming a big deal. And the thing that I don't understand is that people have time to be offended by it, and yet they don't have the time to vote. They don't have time to research about the candidates that they are voting for. What about problems in City Hall? What about the problems we have in this country that are much bigger problems than this? And to me, if you want to market something, I don't mind if you want to market something. But if you're really going to market something, then at least do your research. If you're going to make a catalog or print it out, do some reviews to ensure that what you are marketing is you're marketing to your demographics. If I was, let's say, Best Buy or electronics store, I would market to younger consumers and consumers who love technology. And there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I could also market it to new consumers who are not technology. You want to make it simple. That's why you make your descriptive simple. If you're marketing a TV, you only market the most important thing is you market the size of the TV, 50 to 70 inch, and then you can put a little bit description of its features and performances. If you're gonna market a clothing brand, if it has wording on it, then you gotta see, let's say, make love, not war. Okay, that's good enough because that's bringing positivity. But let's say you make a word that says, just for an example, stop being sensitive about race. Let's say you type that in and so suddenly, oh, why should I not be sensitive about race? Suddenly it become a big deal. Well, as a matter of fact, every song always say that, oh, there's no race, it's all one being, we are all humans. Okay, I don't understand that. That's like a hypocritical. You say that we're all one being, which is true, humans, but then you're gonna be stop being sensitive about race. I don't understand that. To me, I don't really care, because if you're bringing positivity while you're actually bringing up an issue, which an issue should be debated and be talked about, and everyone should be open-minded. But no, people don't want to hear that stuff. People don't want to work hard for it. And in the end, it's easy to be offended and easy to make opinions, but for some reason it's not easy to fix the issue. How about we actually fix an issue? Let's talk about it. Let's have an open debate. Let's not suddenly become sensitive over stupid things when there are larger things to talk about and actually fix in the world. If people only knew the kind of things that other countries go through, they wouldn't be talking about this. If they only knew. And so that concludes the Mr. Informal podcast, the 44th edition of the Mr. Informal podcast. I hope you learned something. I hope I made you open your eyes for certain things and just talk about something else. And I hope in the end you enjoy listening to this podcast. And so I will see you all again in the next podcast. Bye-bye.